Yes, children. I have already given you some videos on this radioisomerism, conformational isomerism. Okay, I'll just give you the theory now. Try to understand the explanation through models that I have shown, and the theoretical part you will understand from this video. Okay. Now, what is conformational isomerism? The infinite number of momentary arrangements of atoms in space resulting through rotation about a CC single bond are called conformations. I told you in the morning, is it not? Two CH3 groups, how a sigma bond CC bond can be rotated completely. It can be rotated to 360 degrees. Okay. And these isomers, they are called as conformational isomers, or they are also called as rotational isomers because you are able to rotate. Okay. Now, the two extreme conformations, they are eclipsed conformation and staggered conformation. In the case of eclipsed, I told you, the electron clouds will be close to each other, so it will repel each other. That is why it is less stable. Whereas staggered conformation is more stable because electron clouds will be far away from each other comparatively, and that is why it is more stable. And between this eclipsed and staggered conformation, you have various other rotamers or rotational isomers. What are they called? They are all called as skew forms or gauche forms. Okay, skew or gauche. You can name them like this. Now here is the diagram. I already told you that there were two people who explained these conformations. One was Sawhorse and the other one Newman. And I showed you the Newman projection formula in the video, right? This is Sawhorse. You're just going to keep the molecule in a tilted position and try to understand what is staggered and eclipsed. In the case of eclipse, you see the two electron clouds are close to each other. Now here it is not so. This is this side and this is ये अंदर की तरफ है, ठीक है? So यहाँ पे electron repulsions will be minimum. So this is staggered and this is eclipsed. Same way in the case of Newman, this is eclipsed and this is staggered because all the CH bonds, ये front वाला carbon का CH bonds है, ये back वाला, so they are very far away from each other. So this is much stable than this. Now, why is the staggered form more stable? Because the electron clouds of sigma bond pairs are at maximum distance from each other, so repulsions are minimum. That is why it is more stable. And in the case of eclipsed, the electron clouds are close to each other and they repel each other. That is why they are less stable. Now, the repulsive interaction between the electron clouds, which affects the stability of a conformation, is what is called as torsional strain. Okay. Now, let us see another conformation, that is of cyclohexane. Now, cyclohexane is C6H12. This is cyclohexane. Now, it's a ring structure, cyclo. This tells you that it is a ring structure. Generally, we used to put it in the form of a simple hexagon and write it as cyclohexane. But what is the actual spatial conformation it has? That is boat conformation and chair conformation. Now, this is looking like a chair tilted, is it not? Say this is a chair. If you consider like this, right? If I show you like this, now if I put it like this, does it not look like a chair, right? So this is why you call it as a chair conformation. And this is staggered because you can see very well that the CH bonds, they are much away from each other. Whereas here you see, this is one CH bond, this is another CH bond. They are much closer to each other. So this is eclipsed. Boat conformation is eclipsed and it is less stable. And chair conformation is staggered and it is more stable. Okay. Now let's come to the next topic, that is geometrical isomerism. Geometrical isomerism, it is exhibited by symmetrical alkenes. Okay. And this isomerism is also called as cis-trans isomerism. Now, what is this cis and trans and why does it occur? This is basically due to restricted rotation around a CEC double bond. Now when you consider a CEC double bond, what you have? It is like this, right? This is your sigma bond and this is your pi bond. And pi bond, how does it overlap? You have an unhybridized p orbital in the case of carbon, and they are overlapping above and below the plane of internuclear axis. This is your internuclear axis. Above and below the plane, one pair of lobes will overlap above and one pair of lobes will overlap below. So this will give rise to one pi bond. Okay. So the p orbitals which overlap to form pi bond, they are perpendicular to the plane. Okay, this is the plane. And these two, they are perpendicular to the plane. So free rotation around carbon is not possible. So you say there is restricted rotation around a CC double bond. Okay. Now say for example you take butene, but2ene. Symmetrical alkenes exhibit geometrical isomerism. Now in the case of but2ene, this is the structure of but2ene. So you have the double bonded carbon holding on to hydrogen and the CH3 group. And this carbon is also holding on to hydrogen and CH3 group. Now how can you write it? Now when you put C double bond C, you can put both the hydrogen in one plane and both the CH3 groups in the other plane. Or what you can do is, you can put the CH3 groups of the two carbon atoms in opposite planes, and same way hydrogen in opposite planes. Now if you put them together in the same plane, it is called as cis isomer, and if you put them in opposite planes, then it is called as trans isomer. Now what they have found, the melting point of cis isomer has been found to be 134 Kelvin, and that of trans isomer has been found to be 167 Kelvin, so which is much higher than that of cis. Now why? What is the reason behind it? If you consider, you will find that the melting point of trans isomer is more than that of cis isomer. That is because since they are present in opposite planes, in crystal lattice they are very well packed. So if in a solid, if the lattice is strong, then it requires more energy, right, to melt it. That is why its melting point is higher. Melting point of trans is higher because of the groups in opposite planes, they fit into the lattice properly. Now if it is like this, then the electron cloud of this CH3 and this CH3, they may hit each other, or they may restrict each other, or they may repel each other. So with the result, the lattice is not stronger, whereas here the lattice is stronger. That is why melting point of trans is higher. See, lattice, when I say lattice, is always for a solid, not for a liquid, not for a gas. Now, how do you discuss solubility? Cis isomer, since packing in the crystal lattice is not strong, it requires less energy to break the lattice, so it is more soluble. And trans isomer, just now we saw crystal lattice is stronger, so it will not be easily soluble. So cis isomer is more soluble than trans. In the case of melting point, trans isomer has a higher melting point than cis. Now when you come to dipole moment, cis isomer is more polar than the trans isomer. Now look at the structure. Now when you draw the structure, you will find that this C is sp2 hybridized. This C is sp2 hybridized. This is also sp2 hybridized. Whereas this carbon, this is sp3 hybridized. And you know very well that sp carbon is more electronegative than sp2, more electronegative than sp3. This you know it. So when you know that sp2 carbon is more electronegative, the electron pulling effect will be towards the more electronegative atom. So the dipole is shown from CH3 to CH2. C double bond C. Same way here also it is shown towards double bond C, right? So this gives an additive effect. The resultant will be having some polarity, dipole, and that is why you say the dipole of this cis isomer is 0.33. Whereas if you consider trans, now this is towards sp2 and this one is also towards sp2, and since these two are in opposite direction, they will cancel out each other. So mu value has been found to be 0 for trans isomer. This is your trans and this is your cis. Okay, that is why cis isomer is more polar than the trans isomer. Cis isomer is more polar than trans isomer. Now, based on this, another property that is to be discussed is boiling point. Now, when you know polarity is more, which one is having greater polarity? Cis isomer is having greater polarity. That means whenever a particular molecule is polar, that means dipole-dipole interactions will be there within the molecules. Now, if dipole-dipole interactions are there, then boiling point is obviously to be on the higher side. So, boiling point of cis isomer is higher than the trans isomer because it depends on dipole-dipole interactions. Since cis is more polar, dipole interactions are much stronger, so boiling point is also high. Okay, so this is about geometrical isomerism. You need to know only this much. This is enough.